Send you email because there was. Okay, got it.
Sorry, say that again, Monique.
No, I just said first send you email because it was 11, but I guess it was just a little bit after 11. I was
Yeah,
just wondering.
I had
Yesterday
started.
was we talked about 6 hours, but it's a 5 hours difference.
Maybe it's because it's British winter time or something.
Ah, maybe because
So we're not in spring yet. So I think
okay.
that may
Yeah.
be what it is. Yeah,
Okay, because the daylight time is changing, I think, this weekend. Okay, that
that's
makes sense. I will just make sure I be on time.
no
Yeah.
problem. I'm just going to share this into the group, and then we'll start. Uh, got it. That's working. How are you, Stephanie? All right. Thumbs
Yeah,
up.
I'm good, thank you. Yeah. Are you okay?
Very well. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yes. A nice cup of tea. Ready to go. I'm just going to make sure this is getting into the group. Hang on a second. There we go. Well, introduce yourself. You're in the same. Well, Monique, spiritual. Stephanie, law of attraction.
Ah,
Yeah.
nice.
So there we are.
Beautiful.
Hello.
Where you, hi, Stephanie, where you are located?
I'm in Newquay in
Ah,
Cornwall.
UK too. Okay, I actually New
Yeah,
Jersey, United States, but
New
I'm
Jersey.
from
Wow.
Canada, Montreal.
Oh,
I'm
right.
from
Wow.
there, just say.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
beautiful.
nice. Yeah. How
Yeah.
long have you been living in New Jersey?
Oh my God. So I kind of moved in 95, between 95 96. This
Right.
seemed a long time ago. It's like 20, I forgot the time even. Yeah, it's kind of
Oh, right. So,
long time,
A long
95,
yeah.
time.
96, yes. I will tell you when I moved here, I barely speak English. I find my way to get to get there. You jump and you learn to swim.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
beautiful. And
Sorry to
I
interrupt you. We're going to start this. We're going to start this because we've got about an hour. I'm just zooming into the group and I'm a little bit late, so
yeah,
I'm just
yeah,
aware of that.
sure.
So what we're going to do is this is going to. So if you're watching on the replay, then hello, welcome along. I don't know when this is because this is recording and it will go out for the next year and a half, 2 years, 3 years. Who knows? That's the wonder of the internet. Got a helper, Superman there, I think. So what we're going to do is we're going to cover podcasting, but in a very systematic way to help you understand how you can create a podcast, but more importantly, how you can get something out of it. So a lot of people will create podcasts, but they don't get any leads, they don't get more exposure, they don't get to build their business, they don't make money out of it, and we all need to pay the bills. So essentially what we're going to look at is step-by-step process. If you're live on Facebook right now, because yeah, we're streaming live on Facebook in the group, then if you do any comments, you're welcome. I'll try and pick them up. Ladies, if you have any questions, then put your finger up, let me know, and we'll jump in. So we're going to kind of, as usual, it's pretty chilled out. We're going to jump between PowerPoint and going to have a look at why you should be podcasting without a shadow of a doubt, the results of it, and then the sales process that you need to attach to it. Okay, so we're going to go into some detail about how to boost your audience if you have a podcast and all that kind of stuff as well. So let's share the screen. We are recording, so that's all good. Off we go. Let's have a look. All right, so let's get into here. So, right, so I'm gonna have to move that over there. All right, so what I'm gonna do is go through a whole bunch of slides, hopefully not too many slides, but I think a lot of the stuff with this work is helping people realize why they should be doing it above everything else. So it's not as if you shouldn't be running ads or you shouldn't be doing this, but every time I do this presentation, I always realize how good podcasting is. So it always reignites my kind of interest, even though I do it all the time and I make money and I make sales and I get leads, all that kind of stuff. I think, oh yeah, this really is so much better than a lot of other things that I look at. So we're going to get into that. And it's all about having a system, a marketing system based around podcasting rather than Facebook ads or TikTok or whatever. It's all about sharing your voice and building your business. Tiny bit about me, if we haven't met before on the recordings. I have met these two lovely ladies before. So I've been online since 97, written a few books, I sell them, and I've also done a lot of training. So I've done a lot of spiritual teaching over the years, and had a therapy center, a healing center, and all that kind of stuff. I'm a hypnotherapist, NLP practitioner, so I did that, which was for fun, really, to be honest with you, and that was great fun to explore that and build a business around that. The beautiful thing about marketing is if you have an idea, you can build a business around it if you want to. And I kind of test things out for a couple of years and I drop them and I move on and play around, really. Marketing expert, yeah, I would say been doing it for 26 years. I've got a podcast. I've had it for a couple of years now in the UK, 20 miles up from London. Very importantly, I've got 3 kids and partner with Claire. That's always the most important stuff, isn't it? So the goal of this is really to get you to understand what podcasting is and why it's so important. We need to take a high level view and a detailed view, and we need to be able to kind of go through them all. So I'm going to show you my podcast and give you a bit of an introduction there. So my podcast, a couple of years, so I've had 30,000 downloads. It's not that many, but I still make money and still get business from it. That is completely on automation. So all the traffic I have, peaks and ups and downs, I don't do any promotion of it. But essentially it just brings me links and it brings leads into my business. Most days people come in, and the goal this year is to really wrap that up a lot more. SEO, getting found on the internet, is also great. So if you type in Conscious Creation Podcast, we're up number 1. Then that brings a lot of traffic and also a lot of interest as well. And as you can see here, it also brings some income. So these are people who have bought my products from my website. They are low ticket, tiny little things that just pay for some more ads and allow me to bring some business in. I think there's about 20 or 30 pages it goes back to there. And this is how many people in the last 6 weeks we've had come in, 570 people come into the business from the podcast. So the podcast is, for me, is a way to create interest and to create business. So what I would really hope you would do, anyone would do, would recognize that for your efforts, just go and check Facebook one more time, for your efforts, then the goal is really to, if you can generate some income, it can pay for ads, it can pay for hosting, it can pay for all these things. And so that's really what you've got to do. So on the website, I'm going to show you, got low ticket items, but then somebody might come for coaching, and then it gets to be a higher ticket item and that type of thing. All right. So I hope that makes sense. So as a business owner, then the biggest challenges are, if you want clients, is getting clients. Okay, it's standing out. It's marketing. Marketing is inherently boring. I mean, I'd rather put pins in my eyes than do LinkedIn. I mean, it just is so boring to just sit there at a computer all day and do that. I really don't enjoy it. I do it and I have other people do it, but I think it's inherently boring. Getting access to your market is really important. And the good thing about podcasting is it attracts your market. It really does work well. The market's swamped, very busy, lots of gurus and teachers. Lack of credibility is also an issue. I know, Stephanie, you're just starting out, really, aren't you? I think in this kind of field. People are nervous of selling as well. They're nervous of kind of having that conversation, whether it's a coaching call or somebody coming on a course or whatever it is. And that's a real challenge for a lot of people. And so if we can do anything to remove that issue of selling and just really move into attraction marketing totally, then that's all good, because nobody likes being sold to and nobody likes selling fundamentally. Also, online marketing is complicated. I counted all the different bits, and there's about 45 different bits you've got to add together just to get your podcast up, to get it linked back to you. It's actually quite complicated, and that's a barrier for a lot of people. Most people don't make money online. It's a bit of a struggle for a lot of people. And also not being seen as an expert is tricky, because a lot of people and a lot of businesses will spend a lot of money to get in front of people. And, and essentially the more eyeballs you get on, the bigger an expert you're seen to be. I see a lot of people in the kind of spiritual market who are full of nonsense, and they really, and yet they have a very big advertising budget and they're seen as the gurus and all that kind of stuff. And it's not that they have any information that's better than you or I, it's just they're really good at marketing, all right? Tony Robbins, for instance, before he was so huge, wasn't into social media or marketing at all quite a number of years ago. In fact, he poo-pooed it. and decided he didn't want to do it. And a company took that challenge on for him, and now he's kind of exploded even more around the whole world, including obviously podcasting and that type of thing. So a lot of this stuff is about marketing. It's not about you. It's not about that you can't make a living, you can't create a really big impact. It's just a lot of people have very good marketing teams. And so what we're looking to do is to create, I'll move this over here slightly, a really well-crafted podcast marketing system. And I've underlined well-crafted system because that's what I really want you to understand, is that you need a system. I bang on about it. Stephanie, this is the first one that you've been on, Monique, I think, but Steffi will tell you if she's been on. I'm always talking about systems. So we also, at the end of the day, you must have a system. If you have a system, you can work it. If you don't have a system, and there's a good old quote that Stephanie may have seen before, which is, you will not rise to the level of your goals, i.e. everybody wants money while they're sitting on a beach. Everybody wants automated income. Everybody wants these things, but very few actually have the systems to create it. They don't connect the dots. So as much as we might want all these things, you will not rise to the level of your goals. You will fall to the level of your systems. So if you have a podcast that only one person sees because you haven't connected up to Apple and Spotify and Deezer and all these different places, if you haven't done that, then you're not going to create the success. That's all part of the key, is that your systems, if your systems can match your goals, you will create the goals that you want. Okay? That's just a fact of it. And the beautiful thing is, of course, the systems are there online. We don't have to make them. Cleverer people than me have made these systems. I just know how to put them together. So it's a bit of a jigsaw puzzle. Okay, so let's have a look. So why should you consider podcasting? Let's get into it. So nice rip. Consumer privacy. Okay, it's harder and it's more expensive to get to people. Okay, Facebook ads, YouTube ads, all these types of things. Privacy is so huge. It's very, it's more and more difficult to actually get in touch with people. Social media, they're kind of clamping down on how many people can see your posts and all that kind of stuff. And podcasting doesn't have any of those. It is a seamless experience. They don't have to sign anything to listen. They don't, they're just sitting in their living rooms mostly listening to the podcast. Podcasting is a screenless activity. So 82% of listeners spend more than 7 hours of listening a week. Now, what that means is that if they're interested in what you're talking about, they are avid. They will listen again and again and again. And so people who enjoy podcasting are avid listeners, and they make great customers, great prospects, great people to work with. And finally, this idea of censored organic content I mentioned. If you put something on Facebook, or they can shut the account down. It's happened to me several times. And what we want to do is try and avoid that. And podcasting has none of these things at all. Nobody will shut any account down. Your podcast, they'll be listening to the podcast on the phone in their front room, and there's nothing between you and them. It's a very personal, intimate experience, and therefore it makes a great way to connect with people. You don't have to do ads. We're going to be running ads for the kind of marketing side of my business, and that's something, because it works for those types of people as well. So we're going to do both podcasting and ads, but of course podcasting doesn't cost you anything in the same way that the ads do. It's totally cool. So next one, the podcasting audience. Now this is about America, because 80% of my listeners are in America. They're UK, Mexico, and Australia, and New Zealand. That's where most of my people are. But 80 million Americans are weekly podcast listeners. So it's 10 million more than Netflix. Okay. So podcasting is really, really, if you're going to focus on one thing, to do, podcasting stands out as something. I mean, YouTube and video and all that kind of stuff. Yes. But fundamentally, you want to be on all of them. But if you were to pick one, then maybe you would do a video, you take the audio, and you focus on promoting that podcast, because that would be the one to do. podcast listeners are basically rich, i.e. they have more income. They tend to be more willing to spend money, and they tend to earn more money. So they're a great audience again. They're people who are listening for their own education. They're people who are listening because they want to learn something new. And podcast ad spend is going up through the roof, and that's always a sign that it's more and more popular. So ad spend on podcasts is not going down, it's going up. And so all that tells you that fundamentally podcasting is a brilliant way for you to share your business. So another question is, am I too late to get started? So a lot of people think that, let me check Facebook again, any questions? A lot of people think that even that, you know, that they're too late even to get into the internet, which is mental, isn't it? Yeah, no, we're still going, we're okay. Still going, yeah. So yeah, there are people watching there. So a lot of people say, is it too late for me to craft my course? Is it too late for me to do a podcast? You know, the internet is in its infancy. It's still so young. It's got growing pains, as we know, but fundamentally, the internet is extremely young, and podcasting is not the early adopters, it's not the geeky early adopters anymore. It's moved into, in terms of numbers and ad spend and all the rest of it, it's moved into the early majority. So this is where we're moving into. You know, people like you and or I, ordinary people like, you know, who want to spread their message of all types and ages, you know, this is obviously, you know, this is probably 10, 15 years away. This is where we are. It's taken 10 years, 15 years to get to here. And now it's coming up to there. So, you know, it's a great time to get into podcasting, and podcasting is only going to get more accessible, not only as a receiver, but as a business owner. So systems, for example, of podcasting, since I've been doing it last couple of years on various podcasts, then have got so much simpler. You know, it's just, you know, it's automatically spread out to Deezer and all those places. It wasn't two or 3 years ago at all. So it's very easy to see how when you create content that it gets spread out automatically. You will see that tens of thousands of people over a year or 2 years or a month, if you've got a huge podcast, are able to see and then come back. And those are people who they have some money, they're interested in what you're talking about, and therefore they're ready to have some coaching, go on a retreat, whatever it would be. You know, that's exactly the type of people. All right. So making sense to my tiny little audience. Is that all making sense? We're all good? Yeah? Any questions? Any questions so far? No. Yes. No. Okay. All right. So all these things are all about how to practically create interest and then income. And income make a really good impact. And also, so this is the system. Okay. So what we want to do is you want to think about the podcast. Now that's a bit of a jigsaw puzzle. I use Libsyn as a hosting company because they're really very good. One of the first and one of the best. So I use them. I then, on every single podcast, point people back to my website or really to my sales funnel. Now remember, a sales funnel is not just a website where people can go where they want and, you know, not leave their details. A sales funnel is where you create opportunities for them to sign up, to have things that are of interest to them based on the podcast, that solve problems or they're interested in, so they can come further into your world. They give you the email, and then of course all that's automated and it all goes off. All right. So the system I have then creates leads, and then ultimately it will create sales. Okay, just as I've shown you. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to my own particular website here. So this is the one I use for this podcast. So what happens is people go on the podcast, they go on to Libsyn. Now they go to Libsyn, but they also go on to, I get mainly people coming through to this website from Spotify and also from Apple. That's they're the main people that they come from. So every single podcast has a link back to this website. Okay. And what I'm doing is I'm gathering emails. And the goal of this website is, the only reason this website exists is do that. The reason it exists is to gather emails. I'm just going to show you something here. I'm going to have to go onto an incognito window. So remember that a website is not, okay, a website is not, only exists to get leads. So what happens here is if somebody comes on, so you see this little kind of area in the middle there, this doesn't come up on a mobile, but if somebody comes onto the website and they don't sign up for thing, or they don't listen to whatever it is, when they go up to this area up here to leave, this little pop-up comes up and it offers them a free training on visualization. Okay, so that's the first area I get for people to offer me to connect with the details. The second one is right on the front. They can download the book. Okay, and there's whatever they're going to get out of the book. Now, remember, these people have gone onto a podcast, they've listened to a podcast, they've come here of their own free will. I don't even know who these people are at all. And then a certain percent, as you saw in the last 6 weeks, nearly 600 people have downloaded this book. So from there, they go and download the book. And then I also put in the podcasts themselves into here. And at the bottom of every podcast is the third way. So the first way is they get something on visualization. The second one, they get to download a book and some audio on a slightly different subject. And the third one is they get this on another subject. So over the years, I've realized that three gifts, if you like, is the optimum. So on every single blog post, you have something they can download. So from here, they can do that. And so that's about past, future, simultaneous lives and all that kind of stuff. The other one is about visualization, and another one is a book. So in whatever market you're in, I know that Monique and Stephanie, you're in the kind of spiritual self-awareness market, but makes no difference at all. What you do is you can share these out to your people on your social media. They will then come back, and a good percentage will then download whatever it is. All right. If you've got just the one download of just a free book or a free training or whatever it is, if that doesn't appeal to the person coming on, so you have 100 people coming onto my website, if that one doesn't appeal, I don't really want a free book, then the fact is before they go, it pops up and says, hey, before you go, you're interested in some visualization help, means that I'm doubling my chances. And then if they would get a blog post and I'm offering them something different again, I triple my chances. And so the rate of sign up here, I got up with my book at one point to about 80%. So 80% of people that came on to, it wasn't this one because it's a new version. It will be back up to that when I organize it. But essentially 80% of people that came on downloaded the book, kind of came into my world, had their emails coming in, and then were invited to come on a course or a chat or a Zoom call or whatever it is. All right. So hopefully that makes sense. So this is a funnel. People also buy here. They can buy products, as you've seen. So from here, they just go in, add to cart, they buy it, they become a customer, and then I'll invite them to something else. So it's super, super simple, but it really works really well. And the reason it works really well, come out of there, the reason it works really well is because I'm not selling them anything. There's no pressure. They're there completely voluntarily. They've already listened to something. They're interested enough to go, okay, yeah, let's go and check this guy out. Click a link to go through. They might download something, come back to the site and buy something. And that is pure automation without ads. And that's why I love it. It's so cool. And if you can get people every single day, which you can, to your website every single day, getting leads, then that's the dream, if you like. Now, I'm not saying you can sell a high ticket item of like a few $1,000s from one podcast or 2 or 3. You will have to probably have some steps in between there, but you can, without shadow of a doubt, make a low income selling $7, $47, $49, that type of thing. You can do that without a shadow of a doubt. And of course, that all adds up. So that's cool. All right. So any questions about any of that? Does that make sense? Podcast, appealing to people, drive them to your website, offer them 3 different things they can get. Might be audios, it might be, who knows, just simple things that they'll enjoy. They'll then sign up and then they might buy something. So
Actually,
you've got,
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
carry on, Monique. Yeah.
I do have a question. Yesterday after we talked, you saw my website, you looked. If you have a way to get that website, did I will can keep this one or maybe make another one more like connected with all that, or keep the one I have now?
I wouldn't keep the one you have now. I
You
think
will not now.
no, no,
Okay.
no. The best thing the best thing that anyone can do if they're starting out from scratch is wipe everything. And a lot of people are very resistant. I understand why. But what you have to do is plan your business to say, what am I going to talk about in my podcast? What's going to appeal to the right people? What images are there? And what website is quick? And, and I can add, and really is hosted online. I would only ever recommend getting hosted with Amazon. Now they're super quick. And what off
Amazon?
with
Amazon?
Amazon, yeah, that's who we host with all our stuff. And if you ever do adverts, what you'll see is that if you pay for adverts, which is not what this talk isn't about, but if you pay for adverts and you have 100 people, 1,000 people clicking a link, if your website is at all slow or Google doesn't like it, you will lose half of the traffic
Yeah, I hear
between
you.
the click and yours, right? So, but it's the same with podcasts. So they're on their phone, and what they're doing is they're going on there, and maybe the older website isn't quite as mobile friendly as it should be. People just click off,
Yeah.
or it's not. They don't. So I would always recommend this is.
Amazon, yeah, Amazon, what they offer the platform I can build my website, and what is?
Sorry, say that again.
Amazon, you said Amazon, I
No,
can.
Amazon don't offer website building. It's just website builders like us use Amazon servers. So the My
Ah,
Easy Funnel and all the big companies you'll see use Amazon funnel, use Amazon thing.
what,
'Cause
what,
it's
what
super quick.
What company you would use? Because I built for my iBook, iWeb
Yeah.
from Apple. But if I want to change that and go another route to build my website and have Amazon hosting. Now
Yeah.
I have Hostpapa. Used to be Lunar Pages, but no
Yeah.
longer. It's sold. I'm Hostpapa, but I'm probably just get out of that. But I want to have a presence. What you suggest, Amazon service, but for build the website, what you would suggest?
Well, our builder is the best builder there is.
What one? Abo?
The My Easy Funnels builder is the best. The one
Oh, I'm not sure to hear. Abo?
the one I sent you to the link yesterday, the one we use.
Ah, okay.
Is the easiest one. It's the latest and easiest and fastest one.
Okay. Just for my note here, how you spell that? Just for my note here, because I would put on
just myeasyfunnels.com.
my easy. Oh, the one you use, my
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah, that's why we made it. We made it because it's quick and it's easy and it's not expensive and it's
Thank you.
and
Thank you. This is why I can build my thing. And the
yeah.
podcast, I'm not sure how that work. And so I have many questions, but from build that to Amazon service, but how the podcasts come together, how you link that together.
You have a link in, so you'll have your podcast that you do. So I'll show you. Easiest. Let's get in and show you. I'm just going to get something up here. Just going to pull mine up. Bear with me a second. So people will come on. I'm just getting the web page up. Let's share this. So essentially, you'll upload your podcasts to, let's share the screen, to Libsyn. So you put them up, they share them out all over the place. But what will happen is somebody will listen to a podcast on here, for example, and you always put a link in the description. So you say what it's about. People will listen to the podcast. There you go. Hey, beautiful people. And then from there, if they're interested, they will click a link and then they're immediately at the website.
Ah, I see.
That's it. Yeah. And then when they're at the website, if I come up here as if to go, then what will happen is this little pop-up will come up and say, hey, do you want this and all that kind of stuff. So that's it. Simple as that. Whenever you create your podcast, then on whatever episodes there are, I'm not sure which ones, so they're all the ones I've got. I'm updating all these because I'm, so look, yeah, so that's got a link again. So same thing. Oh, that's going to the free book one. I'll update that one. But essentially it goes to the same website. That's it. You just point them all to the same place.
The podcast, I will use the app, the podcast to start there. Where I start with the podcast?
In the podcast, you would create an account with Libsyn.
Ah, okay. It's all there.
Yep. Get an account with Libsyn and you just get started. There are different levels where you can get statistics and all that kind of stuff, which you may or may not want. But essentially, you just get started, and all you're going to do is it's coming to mind. All you're going to do is upload. It's very simple. You would just use your microphone that you bought, and you would put it on Apple. You've got an Apple computer. You record it, and you upload it straight to Libsyn.
Oh, okay. And the same place where I can do my website with Libsyn.
No, two different things. You got because they're two different.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's all right.
It's all new for me.
Yeah. So essentially, what you've got to do is you've got to create your audio, your podcast, and upload it to Libsyn, which is an audio website where that keeps all our podcasts. Every time you do a podcast, you have the ability to write a description of the podcast. And in the description, you put a link back to your sales funnel where you can have your gifts and your email set up and all that kind of stuff. Yep. So you've got two places, but only ever two, which is great. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Brilliant. Steph, any questions? No? All good?
With the podcast, have you found there's like a certain amount of like time that you should spend that keeps people interested?
Yeah, we will get to that in a second, but I mean, I'll show it. It's
okay.
If you can do, well, I'll tell you now. So I do different formats. So sometimes I do an interview and a chat. Sometimes it's me. So twice a week at 10 minutes is perfect. And then a longer one. That's it. So all you're going to do is sit on your computer, have a list of subjects and go, right, I'm going to talk about this, do it, upload it, fill out the description. I mean, you have to get it onto Apple. You have to do all that first, but that's a separate conversation. That's about filling in forms, that type of thing. But it then gets shared out. You put a link, that link is shared with your podcast and people then click on that. So people say 7 minutes is the longest, but if it's just you, but we've got Joe Rogan and that doing 2.5 hours and Rich Roll doing hours. And I have a conversation with another guy who's been exploring bodywork called the Seth material for a number of years. And we sit and talk for an hour. And I put the video onto YouTube and I take the audio and I put it onto the podcast and people listen for an hour. This kind of conversation about, different aspects of conscious creation or whatever, how to change your beliefs, all that kind of stuff. So yeah. Vary it is the answer, but I think the main thing is you don't want to be overwhelmed. Right, because there's almost another thing. If you just go right on a Monday, I'm going to do 10 minutes. On a Wednesday, I'm going to do 10 minutes. On a Friday, I'm going to have a rant about. I'm going to say something that that's going to get people interested for the next week or whatever, and that way you can't really fail. Yeah, I keep it simple. I have an Excel spreadsheet on a Monday, and I type out what I'm going to write. On a Sunday night, I type out what I'm going to do, and I just do that. I don't think about it too much. Okay. Keep it simple. Yeah. The worst thing you can do is ramble. Yeah. They just go off on a woo, because people are busy. So what you want to do is have a title, stick to the title, have some fun as well, but stick to the title, give yourself 10 minutes and just go, okay, 10 minutes. I think I've answered that question. If you're interested, check out the description, go down and download my book or come and join. Are you doing a 5-day challenge, aren't you?
I'm doing, I've got one on the 21st coming up.
So what you would probably maybe do is on your funnel or your website, should be a funnel, you'd have one page for a 5-day law of attraction challenge that they can sign up for the next one. right?
Yeah.
So you're getting this, what you're trying to create is an evergreen marketing system. By that, I mean, it's not limited by date or time.
Yeah.
People can sign up all the time, overnight. I wake up sometimes, I've made 3 sales of my book and of my kind of belief work, and I've had a dozen people sign into my email for something that's going to happen next week or 2 weeks ahead, So. All right, so I'm going to cover that. So essentially, let's share this. So hopefully that will answers that. All right, so boom, 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 boom. Right, so benefits, just run through these. So the good thing about podcasting, you're able, they opt in to be your client, right? Because they're opting in to listen to you. So it takes all the selling out. It builds an asset that you own. Nobody can take this down, unlike Facebook, which they can. One of the main things, it builds rapport with your market. So when people listen to you, they spend time with you. They're in the car. I listen to podcasts in the car. You know what I mean? They're in the car, or they will literally build a relationship with you. And if you don't put a podcast out, they will feel as though something's missing. They will look forward to it. So it builds an amazing amount of rapport with the market. It creates inbound marketing systems. It's the only system where I have no idea who's coming onto the website. Everywhere else, I know they come from an ad. I know they come from this or that, but I have no idea. Which is, for me, is much more exciting. It provides opportunity to then go out and talk to other people. You get invited onto other podcasts, which is awesome. Build your reputation. Okay, if you're not known in the market at all, and you are a podcaster, you are immediately elevated. Okay, if you're an author, you are immediately elevated. Okay, that's just the way our minds are trained to work. So having a podcast by its very nature is builds your reputation. It also kind of says that you're taking it seriously as well, because for some reason it creates interest in your business. I will often get people that have listened to the podcast that I will meet on Facebook, and they said, I just listened to one of your podcasts. It's kind of mind blowing. You go, really? They go, oh, yeah, so it's amazing. And it makes you a maven. Do you know what the word maven means?
No.
No? Okay, so a maven is somebody that knows everything about the market. It's a go-to person. So if you're talking about spirituality, self-awareness, or law of attraction, or you're a hypnotherapist or a dentist, doesn't make no difference at all. You have a podcast that talks about these things, you become the center for a lot of people of that particular market, which is very, very cool. Fundamentally, what we want to do, we want to get away from being the sleazy sales type person. If we're offering courses or retreats or whatever it is, we want to get away from that, and we want to give. We want to be, move that over there.
I love the image you use for the salesperson. We cannot feel really, really.
Yeah, sleazy old sales guy.
You speak,
Yeah.
you speak for itself.
Yeah, it
It's
does.
funny.
And a lot of we want to be the opposite of that, and that's what podcasting does. It attracts people by its very nature that are open to listening. And so here are a couple of examples of my page here. So this is for people to learn to get courses. So my other podcast I'm starting goes to here. That's my book. So get download book. Another one. This one's for lead gen. So my other podcasts go there. So you've just got to have pages that allow people, or websites, systems that allow people to give you their details. Yeah. Don't deny people the ability to make further contact with you. If they are intuitively attracted to what you're saying, or they are wanting more information, don't deny them. Open the doors and say, yeah, if you're interested, why don't you have this? Why don't you come and have an appointment for 10 minutes and talk about it? Keep the doors wide open and offer people things, and that really is the way to do business, because it's unlimited. I have no idea how, where those people that have bought my stuff over the last month, or I think I had about 85 downloads on one day. I have no idea where they've come from, but I know that some of them bought something. But it's because I'm creating systems that allow them to do that, and that's the key to it. It really is. So let's get into the detail of podcasting. So the 3 biggest secrets to getting more exposure and monetizing. So these will answer some of your practical questions. So this is a good one to do. We're starting this next month. I'm just going to check on Facebook. Bear with me. Okay, let's have a look. Nope, we're okay. All right. Okay, so subscriber surges. So how do you increase your subscribers? So what you want to do is you want to do monthly, quarterly, or holidays or giveaways. You want to do something special around a particular time of year. Okay. You want to do courses. You want to review books. You want to have a kind of invite them to a mastermind event, or you could get a product that you're, or a book that you're going to review. You can also give away cash if you want to. You can do anything you like, or you can have a look at a product sample, which again might be in my terms, will maybe be a book review or a course review. So any of these kind of things, where you can do some reviews and then actually give them away. And what you're going to do is you are going to encourage people to share. So if they share, I'm not going to go into the details of how you manage that, but if you can get people to share your podcast, awesome. That's absolutely brilliant. So next one, build a podcast machine. So this is all about how many episodes. So the more you get seen, the more you get. So it's like Google in a way, or how Google used to be. If you get seen with, the more you get seen, the higher ranking you get in Apple and Spotify and all those things, the more they show you. So that's why you build trust faster. You get more downloads overall, more chances to talk to people about your offer, and there's no spam filters or algorithms or anything else blocking in the way. So that's why I would say, that the key to it is to produce content 3 times a week. If you can do that, you can't go too far wrong. Okay. And essentially you just get more, you get shown more and more and more, which is awesome. Okay. So here's an example. So Monday, you could do an interview. On Wednesday, you could do a little mini training. And on Friday, you could have a rant about something. I don't tend to rant about anything. So I won't be ranting, but it is an example of people want to, they want to spout off and talk about this, or talk about something in an impassioned way, I suppose. But so that's key. So I will often do an interview or a chat with Rob. On this particular podcast, I'll do a mini training about 3 steps to exploring ABC. And on Friday, I might do a book review. That's it every week. Train your audience. So people that are listening to you will actually do what you ask them. And that's how you get seen more. So do ask them to review and to sign up, all that kind of stuff, and give feedback and suggestions. And you can do that in Facebook. So if you've got a review, if you've got an episode, you can then put it up on Facebook and ask people to listen to it and give you their feedback. Okay? And at any time it's something good, that's a good review. And each time you do a podcast, you want to structure it. Okay, we don't want to have to think about it. So you want to do the hook, which is, hey, are you struggling with? Are you interested in? If you want help with, etc. That's the hook. Yeah. The pre-frame is, then I'm going to help you do this in this way. If you're interested in understanding past lives, then I'm going to give you seven ways in order to actually explore that. The content is, it's a meditation or whatever it be. And from this, I want you to get away. I want you to understand this, 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 and this. Okay. If it's marketing, the hook is, do you want more leads for your business? With leads for your business without being technical. I'm going to show you 7 ways to get more leads. And from this, you'll be able to see that there are, you can take these steps, everything, whatever it would be. So my suggestion to you is that you just stick to the formula. As soon as we overthink these things, we get overwhelmed, it gets disorganized, and you end up looking at a blank screen going, oh my God, what am I going to talk about? So don't do that. Just go on a Monday. You might interview yourself, right? So Monday, just be you talking about something at more length. Wednesday's the mini training, and Friday something else. And just, what's the hook? What am I going to talk about? Who is it for? What's the content about? And what they're going to, just stick to whatever version of this you want to stick to. Okay. When you go outside of it, you'll confuse yourself. Well, I do anyway. Yes, I tend to try and keep things a simple. All right. Okay. So let's have a look here. All right. So how can you do other things? So if you've got friends in the industry, you've got a podcast, you can approach them. You can do one or two things. You can buy space if you want it, or you can do a swap. Okay, you come on mine, I'm going to come on yours. And the way you can find that with people, you can actually use something called Chartable and Listen Notes. So Chartable and Listen Notes tell you who's doing what podcasts, all that kind of stuff. And you can send them an email and approach them that way, or on Instagram if you wanted to. What I would suggest you do is have a few under your belt first, and yeah, do it that way. So get a few podcasts, get some listeners, and then start going out asking other people to be on the podcast, and if you would then be on their podcast. Right, makes sense. But I would probably get 10 or 15 under your belt first, and be organized. If people can see that you're organized, that they go to your sales funnel, that your sales funnel gathers emails and all the rest of it, they're much more likely to do a swap with you, because they can see that you're serious. All right, so what you do is you can find the top 20 or 30 interview shows in category on Chartable. So you might type spirituality or business. In this case, ladies here, it would be spirituality, self-awareness, consecration, or attraction, whatever it would be. So go into Chartable, find there. Once you've got some under your belt, Listen Notes, you can go on and actually find email addresses as well. Okay. Instagram is a good place to go to. If anybody wants these slides, let me know. Right. So we are getting towards the end. So my 3 main advantages of podcasting is that your content, it's a content marketing strategy. It's easy to do, it's fun, and it gets you leads immediately. As soon as you put up a podcast, when it goes out onto Apple or whatever it is, you will get leads coming back in if you put the link back to your website or your sales funnel, and your sales funnel has the right stuff on it, you will get leads. So it's about 2 things. It's about the podcast and the sales funnel. It's about connecting the 2 things up. There's no chasing involved with podcasting at all. People come to you. You can do it for, it'll take you 2 hours a week, and it's probably 99% automated. Okay, you don't have to go and put it on Apple. You don't have to put it on Spotify. All you've got to do is create it, upload it, and the technology virtually does the rest. Yeah, which I think is just brilliant. Okay, so all clear so far? Shall I carry on? Yeah. All right. Conversion tricks. You can get sponsorship. Now, a lot of people wait for too long to monetize their podcast. So what I would say is don't wait to monetize it when you've got 10,000 listeners or whatever. Send people straight back to your sales funnel and try and monetize it there. But what you can do is you can get sponsorship, obviously. High ticket offers, interview success stories, all that kind of stuff. If you've trained anybody, then what you can do is interview them on the podcast, or like-minded people, and then make an offer to a higher ticket offer. Coaching shows, awesome. So you can do that. You can do that with other people. And then if they get people coming from your podcast, they can give you some money for that. So that's a great way. And finally, the easiest, quickest, and one that everybody should do is have a funnel that you should send them to. You should always be sending them to your sales funnel that you own, that you are able to monetize and get leads from. Okay, simple stuff. And that's the first one to start off with. Then get some more under your belt, and then start thinking about doing the other ones. All right. Okay, so how do you start? Got to nail down your big idea, and you can make it results driven. How to create the life you want. Mine's all around conscious creation. I generally pick something that I can rank for, and then I'll pick some other subjects. If I was going to do a purely marketing one, it would be how to get more leads for your business. So pick something that your market resonates with, and that's the title of your podcast. It's also, I think, better to make sure that's the title of your Facebook page, and that's the title of your website. So when somebody types in conscious creation, then the Conscious Creation Academy can come up, Conscious Creation can come on Facebook, all that kind of stuff, then it's all related. Okay. You can launch with a giveaway. So you can say, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give away 10 versions of my book in the first week when I first start. okay, 10 coaching sessions, whatever it be, if you share my podcast out. You can build a content machine, 2 to 5 episodes a week. Super easy. Doesn't matter who you are. If you know your subject, and if you know what you're doing, can you talk for 2 to 3 times to 5 times a week for 5 minutes? Yeah, well, yeah, of course you can. And then also you can pitch other shows, making sure there's no questions on Facebook. You could also pitch other shows once you've got a bit of credibility. It's really difficult to do it once you start, but once you can show people that you have sales, once you can show people that you have an audience, then you can begin to push yourself out there a little bit more. So next steps. Okay, so next steps are, if you want to help, reach out basically. So what we do is podcast strategy you need to have, systems in terms of landing pages and all that kind of stuff that relate to your podcast, and then the sales funnel step by step. Okay, those things there is license to print money, which is on automation, which is awesome. All right, I think we've covered enough. I would imagine a lot of information. If anybody wants the slides, either live or on Facebook or recording, it could be 2023 by the time you're watching this, whoever you are, then just let me know and I'll send them over. So any questions from the live crew, this tiny little group we have here? Any questions? There's probably more detailed questions maybe, but any questions at all about podcasting? What to do, how many to do, where to host it, what to do with it?
Actually, you did pretty good. I'm sorry. Please go.
I think what were you going to say?
Sorry, no, I was just saying no. I'm all right.
No, I was
All
just about to say you've been very, very thorough and step by step. It's just a matter to integrate on that. For my first, for me, it would be first ever. I don't know about you, Stephanie, but you've been very thorough. Explains time. Good thing is you make that easy and clear. You know, not too complicated. But no question really come at this time.
Cool. All right. So get started. So you watching this. So if you're live late, if you've got any questions, you want to help with anything, give me a shout. If you're watching this on a replay on Facebook, please hit replay, and this will be recorded and we'll put it up onto the website as well at some point that you can watch it for the next 5 years. Again, so if you are producing content like podcasts and videos, you can use them for 5 years, you know, so you just got to get yourself started. That's most people just don't start, which is such a shame, isn't it? You know, so we will leave it there. Again, you know, we have a whole system with the easy funnels. We set up podcasts for people. We set up all the sales funnels. If anybody's interested in that, Monique or Stephanie, give me a shout. We can make an appointment. And if you're on Facebook, give us a shout. We'll have a 20-minute chat, whatever it be, and we'll continue to do that. So that's it. We'll call it a day.
Thank you.
Thank you. I really appreciate you being very giving, as we spoke yesterday, today. Yeah, I will integrate on that, but surely I will follow up.
No problem. No problem at all. It's there if you want it. All right, then. So we'll leave it there. So Monique, Stephanie, thank you for coming along live. Anybody else on Facebook, thank you for coming along. And whoever else is watching this, have a great day. All right, then.
Thank you.
Take care. All right, then. Bye-bye. All right. Take care.
Bye. Thanks.
Bye. Bye. Bye.